Welcome everybody. This is going to be a little bit out of order, okay? So forgive me. Welcome to episode 101 of Psycho's Platters. You'll find out why it's going to be out of order, because, well, all right. I kind of thought this would bring up some attention here to me. And besides, I told you 100 is going to be kind of a special episode. So we're jumping ahead, and then you'll have to come back to 100, okay? I never do anything just normal. All right, listen, here's the truth. I was on YouTube, and I came across, in the last 24 to 36 hours, I came across a couple channels I was looking into, because I subscribe to a lot of people, just like you guys hopefully subscribe to me. Wink. But I happened to catch Mean Mr. Mayo and High Rant District, which I have subscribed to them in the past and currently. There is another gentleman. It was a response videos to a gentleman named Matthew Smith, who has his own YouTube channel. Okay, now they were giving the responses to Matthew Smith's. He did these is two separate videos we're talking about here. Okay, this is going to be Beatles related. I want to talk about here. The first one I'm going to go a little ahead of myself, but one of the videos, which under Matthew Smith's channel RR135, when's this Beatle thing going to end? Okay, and RR171. Are you glad the Beatles broke up? Considering that I'm assuming I'm in a 15-minute time frame, I'm going to try to do this in shorter pieces. Okay. In response to that, first of all, Mr. Smith, your videos are highly intelligent and thought out. I watched your videos. I watched a couple more past the ones that these two I'm talking about here. But you made me think. And that's a good thing. Anybody on this forum that can make somebody think and react and converse, kudos to you, sir. Seriously. Psycho gives you kudos, Mr. Matthew Smith. So here's the thing. Here's my response to the whole thing. When's this Beatle thing going to end? Now, what he meant by that, though, was about like in a fad. Like, is this going to be a resurgence currently in the music marketplace? Here's the thing about all that. Realistically, and what I mean by the whole Beatle thing is the Beatle mono set box, the individual Beatle reissues. And believe it or not, none of them interest me. None of them. I have no desire to buy any of those reissues except one of the Beatles. I do want a Beatles mono white album reissue, at least until I can get an original UK. Other than that, Capitol Records is not going to sucker me for any of that stuff. There will be a new album coming out. I kind of dropped a message to Mean Mr. Mayo in his reply box on wadblog.com. In the last 48 hours, I read a post that says, now this might be an import, so if that's the case, this is going to be something else. It won't be a U.S. release, but it is a legitimate contractual release that will be the Beatles live in Spain from 1965. So I'm actually looking forward to that. The set list and the additional details and information are on Wogblog. That's WOGBLOG.com, which is supposed to be all things Beatle and solo. Okay, so go check that out. But I think that that excites me actually, considering that there doesn't look like there's going to be a Hollywood Bowl reissue. They haven't had it out since '77, and I'm trying to remember when it got out of print for the Beatles anyway. So what I wanted to get at on this one is this. As far as for the Beatles, when's it going to end? You know, part of this is a mix of the greedy record companies. Okay, truthfully, a lot of them like to go and jack up their vinyl product over the CD product, and I mean by profit margins. You just go into any record store. okay? Go into any record store, go into Barnes and Nobles, go into, I guess, who else? Some Best Buys, but not too many anymore have vinyl. And you're going to notice that a lot of the albums, single, doubles, even triple albums, are about 25 to 40% over what they really should be listed. Okay, the record companies are gouging the fans. All right. Now, saying that, it's great that these younger people, okay, are getting turned on to this. Um, Partly it's because um, they're. How do I explain this? I talk to a lot of people. I do. I talk to a lot of people at Vintage Stock, a lot of people at the bookstore, a lot of people at a couple of the record stores. Whenever I'm bumping into younger people, okay, and I ask them, what do you get into? What have you been listening to? Would you believe, seriously, 8 out of 10 of them literally say Beatles? And I'm like, okay, why or how? They mostly say older relatives, their parents, things like that. Some people discovered them on their own. And I truthfully said, okay, what is it that you like about it? And basically they say it's got heart and soul and it's timeless. Now, the timeless part, maybe they didn't say so much, but they do actually have told me that it's got heart and soul and it has intelligence and it makes you feel good. And you know what? That's why I think it's always going to be there. And by the way, I mean, just to throw this out too, I've actually encountered a bunch of people that have actually got turned on to Elvis and the Rat Pack even. But the thing is, with Elvis, I mean, I'm glad that they got turned on to Elvis, but the record companies have nothing left. At least RCA doesn't now. Saying that, that's not entirely true because there is some tape sources. Um, the 1960 or 59-60, one of Elvis's army buddies had a tape recorder rolling on at a party that Elvis was playing at. Supposedly, I remember reading an article about this that someone bought at auction a file cabinet of Vernon Presley's, and there was a bunch of tapes in there. So I call it the Vernon Presley tapes. I don't know if those things ever came out. I also know of somebody else that acquired about 7 unbroken 78, one side 78 acetates from the garbage can of Elvis in 1975. He actually picked up 8 records. One was broken. RCA did know of the existence of those recordings in the early 1980s. I don't know if those ever got released. So there's a handful of more sources. It's just they got to dig up some. So so like I said, it's a mixture of the greedy record companies, trying to milk things, but the excitement of the new fans wanting this product, loving this product. I think, truthfully, I don't think it's going to be a fad. The vinyl thing, I hope, will never go away. I know that right now it's maybe a trend for some, but I'm hoping it never completely goes away, and I don't think it will. As long as we profess our love to our younger generations, I think it will live on. And I also think that the Beatles will continue to live on. I mean, after all, let's face it, 45 years ago was the last record for them. And yes, we still have Paul and Ringo carrying on in the solo endeavors, and I'm glad. But like I said, yeah, I'm glad it generates excitement. Now, the last one, really quick here, is Are you glad the Beatles broke up? Well, you know what? I guess I could be a selfish bastard and go off and say, well, no. I'm not glad that the Beatles broke up. I could go off and throw temper tantrums and be upset and cry about it, which I'm not saying that you people are doing that or other people I know have done that. I guess what I'm getting at is this. I'm a Stones fan. I love the Rolling Stones, but I mean, okay, I know that Beatles and Stones are apples and oranges here, but what I'm getting at is the longevity of a band. The Stones between 1981 and now, Tattoo You and Bigger Bang in 2006, 2 high quality albums. The rest of them, 1 or 2, 3 good songs per album. it got diluted. They kept going on tour, and they're a great tour band. Don't get me wrong, but as far as for the legacy is concerned, I think it's got watered down. The Who, I'm a huge Who fan, very huge Who fan, and they're on that 50th anniversary tour. But I'm going to tell you something. Yeah, fine. Send the nasty letters down here. Get Lucky, that new song sucks. And I love Who product. Um, they kept talking about putting out an album. Yeah, I was one of the first ones to buy Endless Wire. I was disappointed, and I'm like, it's really not the Who anymore. It's Roger and Pete. Okay, so here's the thing. As far as for the Beatle breakup and everything, let's face it, the three of them, Paul, John, George, they were together since 57, 58. Okay, so you're talking almost 12 years together. Okay, mostly as a nucleus, probably living, breathing, sleeping, generally in each other's way. It was bound to give. It really was. It didn't help that Brian Epstein died in 67 and there was no management to be the compass to continue to keep them going. It also didn't help that the drugs, the greed, revolving around Apple Corps. Okay, you want to throw Yoko in there? Fine, throw Yoko in there, but you know what? She is a very small part of this. Okay, I'm not a big Yoko fan either, but you gotta go where this goes here. Okay, you're talking that these three, okay, because Ringo came later, obviously, but these three were like this at one point or another. Okay, and it just started coming apart. Now, would it have been great if proper management went off and said, you know what, guys, you guys are at each other's throats. Take a year, take 2 years off. You don't have to keep cranking out albums like this, even though that was the 60s hectic recording pace. I mean, let's face it, okay? We still got excited, when Ringo came out in 73. You had all the Beatles on there, but in a solo venture, and except for I'm the Greatest. Like I said, well, also we may have also found out that on All Things Must Pass, What Is Life has got 3 out of 4 of them, minus Paul. It's exciting to be able to get as many as you can. I also heard, though, that unfortunately, of course, due to the assassin's bullet that killed Lennon, there was some plans in 1981. I have read this in several sources. There was 2 things. Number one, Lennon actually gave Ringo some songs for his Stop and Smell the Roses album, which originally was going to be called Can't Fight Lightning. The Lennon songs that were to be given to him was Can't Fight Lightning and Life Begins at 40. Those were the 2 that I heard that he was supposed to contribute on. You would have had all 4 Beatles pretty much involved separately in those sessions. The second thing, though, is that Apple Corps pretty much was sitting on a long-standing documentary called The Long and Winding Road. Now, you Beatle fans are going to know about this bit, but I was told by other sources and reading this too, that roughly in around January, February of 1981, Lennon was going to fly over to England. I don't know if this was going to be before the world tour that he was talking about doing for Double Fantasy or otherwise, but they were going to get together in the same room and they were going to record incidental music for the ending credits of the documentary. So, I mean, that would have been exciting. I'm almost out of time, guys, but you know what? I mean, like I said, it was destiny. The Beatles got together. It was destiny that made the Beatles break up. You know what, guys? Take care. God bless. No shout outs due to the short length here. But like I said, watch for episode 100, which I will be doing in about a week. Take care. God bless. Rock on.